All right, so I am here with Brenda Austin, Senior Sales Director, and I I'm just so excited for her to be able to share with you guys today about her journey and then just her focus on recruiting. Like this, you'll hear her talk about this, that this is her passion. So we're just going to kind of dive right into that. So Brenda, I'm going to have you start first. If you would share, just kind of tell us a little bit about you, about your story, and how you got into Mary Kay.
So my name is Brenda Austin. I am married. I have three amazing adult children and I have two grandsons. My oldest grandson is 13 and my youngest will be 8 next month. And I was an ER nurse for 20 years. I worked in emergency nursing. I thought that was my passion. I was going to do it for forever and then got burned out and came home and started coding medical records. And I wasn't making the money that I was making as a nurse. And so I knew I needed to make some additional income, but I didn't want it to be in the traditional manner. I didn't want to go back out into the field. And so I started looking at different home-based businesses. I actually tried a different company briefly before I started Mary Kay, bombed horribly. I actually lost money in the deal. It was not good. And I knew I still needed to make some money. And in the meantime, my ex-sister-in-law was doing a brochure party for Heidi Plank, who's a sister sales director now. And you got to make those obligatory purchases so you don't tick anybody off. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to buy something. I don't want anything, but I'm going to buy something. And so I picked the wrong shade. And Heidi tried so very diligently to give me amazing customer service. But my thought of Mary Kay at the time was that Mary Kay women were pushy, they were aggressive. I wasn't the least bit interested. I tried Mary Kay 20, 30 years ago. It just wasn't for me. But it got me to thinking. I wasn't a customer. In fact, I didn't have any skincare regimen at all. So my skin was in horrible condition. I didn't know how to wear makeup, so I didn't wear makeup, but I started researching the Mary Kay opportunity. And so I went to things like the Better Business Bureau, just different publications that I felt would give me accurate information. Plus I researched the marketing plan. And I was like, wait a second, if I go sell $1,000 for company A at 5%, I make $50. I sell $1,000 for company B, where the most I can make is 35%, I make $350. But I go sell $1,000 for Mary Kay and I make $500. Why would I want to sell for anybody else? I'm doing the exact same work. I want to get the biggest bang for my buck. Then I started researching the culture. And what I realized is maybe the first go round wasn't an appropriate experience, that maybe I just happened to have a negative thing and I just needed to give it another try. So I recruited myself. Nobody had a coffee with me. Nobody shared the marketing plan with me. I didn't have a pro girl call with Heidi or Heather Daniel Kent. I just knew this is what I wanted to do. So I contacted my sister-in-law, ex-sister-in-law, and I said, okay, I need that Heidi chick's number because I think I want to sell Mary Kay. And she went, I'll sign up and you sign up underneath me. I'm like, as long as I'm affiliated with this Heidi girl, because she's really good, I don't care. So that's what happened. She signed up under Heidi. That same day I signed up under her. I already knew, so nobody had to have an inventory conversation with me because I got very prepared. I knew I wanted a star level inventory, even though I had no desire to work this in any capacity other than making a couple of $100 extra a month. That was it. But I knew I needed to properly equip myself. So I came in with a star level inventory. I got my website, I got ProPay, and I went to meetings. Heidi was not working at that level. And so when I told her, I probably should go to those meetings that you go to, but I can't go this week, I can go next week. Heidi said, perfect, I'll get you the information later. What I didn't realize was Heidi wasn't attending meetings. So Heidi went out and found a meeting so that she could, and made some friends. And then she came back and gave me the information. And when I arrived, I just assumed Heidi had been attending these meetings for forever because everybody was so friendly. So she must be friends with all of them because these are like the friendliest women I've ever met. And again, I really I didn't think women of my caliber, I look different now, but I didn't think women of my caliber in my appearance could be successful in Mary Kay. So I just wasn't going to set myself up for failure. I'm just going to sell to a few of my family and friends. And then quickly, I started having fun. I was coachable. If Heather said, go do 30 faces, okay, I'll go do 30 faces. I didn't question it. If Heather said you need to have 3 parties on your books, okay, I'll go do 3 parties because that's what she told me to do. Within 6 months, so I started in March, by September, so I became a star. I was a red jacket, and I get a call from Heather, and it was September of 2011. We're in the process of moving, and Heather says, Brenda, you're about to go on Target for your car. I'm like, what? People like me can earn cars? Really? Imagine if I tried. Now, what I really think that meant was, Brenda, if you go recruit 2 more people and all 5 of you go do another 3,000 in production, you're going to go on Target for your car. But I was like, oh my gosh, okay. Within 10 days of that phone call, I found a lump in my left breast, went on to be diagnosed with a very aggressive form of breast cancer, went through 9 months of chemo, had to do a double mastectomy. So obviously my Mary Kay business kind of slowed down for a little bit. But the wonderful thing is we sell a consumable product, and my clients wanted to support me in some way, so they kept buying. And my husband would come home from work and I'd be in bed sicker than a dog from chemo, and he'd go, there's $200 in the account that I didn't put in there. Do you know anything about it? I'm like, I saw some product today. How? I'm like, yeah, I just sent them my website and they ordered, and I told the company to ship it to them, and I never had to leave bed. And he was like, oh, okay. And so then I got through with chemo, and then I just love this company. I love the culture. I love everything about it. And so I just became very passionate about what it has done for my life. I'm a better wife. I'm a better mother. I'm a better Christian. I'm a better friend and leader. If it's done that for me, what could it do for other people? So it doesn't matter. Even during a season when I wasn't working my business, I still was passionate about sharing it, because even if I'm not in a position to run with it, she may be, and I would never want to stop her from hitting things that she should be hitting. So I just became passionate about sharing.
That's so awesome. Well, and I think that's what we always, that's what we have to keep remembering is, if we love it as much as we do, if we can't imagine our lives without it, like, why would we not want to give that opportunity for somebody else to be able to decide if that's what they want? You know what I mean? And so what do you think has been like the biggest, I don't want to say like tip or tool or benefit or whatever in regards to you being so passionate about, and like in the actual act of sharing this opportunity? Because I mean, we talked, you've done quarter sharing 4 times. You're already done with the quarter sharing now. Like, you finished that in November, almost done, 11 away from doing the unit building challenge as well. So what's like the biggest thing with that to help you, yes, of course, be passionate about sharing it and wanting to share it, but then actually getting the results from that?
So I made it a system. I took the emotion out of it. I removed myself from it, because a lot of times when we don't share, it's because we're thinking, oh, how is she going to perceive me? What if she says no to me? I removed myself from the equation and I made it a system. And I'm really not passionate about her answer, because I truly want everyone to make the decision that is best for their circumstances at that moment. So she may say no to me right now. That doesn't mean 3, 6, 9, 12 months or whatever later it might be for her. I'm more passionate about making sure I give her the right information, the correct information, so that she can make an informed decision for herself. And so that's really where my passion came from. I removed myself from the equation. I can mark it in my sleep. And so I shared with Mary, and I'm sure she's going to share with you all. Heather created this amazing layering chart we used to call it a recruiting layering chart.
Do you want me
But
to pull it
now,
up so that they can
oh,
see
that
it?
would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So I refer to this chart when I'm talking to my consultants. We just call it a customer layering chart, because not every customer may want to join your team, but these layers are so rich in making her the best customer, recruiter, team member, whatever. So we start, so everybody that, if God gives me her name, if she's a referral, if she's in my VIP group, if I meet, you name it, every woman that I want in my business in some form of fashion goes on a layering chart. Then and you do not have to go start from the left and move to the right. You don't have to go in a particular order. I shared a little bit ago, I recruited, I wasn't a customer. Like, I had not tried Mary Kay product in 30 years. So my filter isn't that, well, she's got to really love the product. Yes, she does have to love the product, but I fell in love with the product right after I joined. Like, I had Heidi give me a facial. So this first one says loves product. To me, that means she's bought something from me. She loves it enough that she's bought it. Number 2 says spa samples. Don't give them everything the first time around, because if you give them everything the first time around, you have nothing to come back with. So right now, I just got 100 leads in my VIP group. I did this big push over the snowstorm to get people to add people to my group. So the spa samples I'm sending right now are multi-masking. So I don't have to pre-profile her for that. I don't need to know what her skin type is. I send her pamphlets that talk about the product. I send her a little note, and then I follow up. So maybe you gave her multi-masking. Well, have you given her skincare sample? Have you given her a color card? Has she tried eye patches? Like, there's a plethora of samples. So this is a layer that I can repeat regularly. When new products come out, can you get her the new lip colors? So spa samples is a layer that is repeatable. Has she been a hostess? If not, does she love my product? Okay, well, I want to make her a hostess. Almost every one of my recruits become a hostess before they join. So either she is a hostess, and through the coaching process of it, she realizes why she would want to do this, or she's expressed to me a desire to join my team. So I immediately have her, we go do a virtual party. That's going to show me, does she have the circle of influence? But more importantly, we're doing a ton of training while we're coaching our hostess.
Right.
So by the time she's through being a hostess, she knows how to coach a party. She knows how the party runs. She knows how to layer and all of that. Has she watched a video? This is another repeatable layer. And I repeat this layer every 2 months if I want her on my team. Just because she said no in December doesn't mean right now she might be interested again. She might be interested now. Life has occurred. I don't know if y'all have heard about the Great Resignation, but women are leaving, well, everybody, but women in general are leaving their jobs in droves. There are women out there looking for something. Maybe in December she was not looking for anything, but then last month she found out that she has to come back in the office, and she doesn't want to come back in the office. So this is a layer I repeat a lot. So either go out and get you an arsenal of different videos from different directors with different personalities, or I redo my video every 2 months and I make it for whatever is going on in that season. So this is something, if you really want her, unless she has said to you, don't ever ask me again. And I think I've had one person do that. I just, every couple of months I go, hey girl, I love your feedback. You give me such honest feedback. I have another video. Will you watch this for me and tell me what you think? And we know it takes 5 plus layers. So sometimes this is just a layer I have to repeat. Has she given you referrals? What does that look like? Has she given you names and numbers of people? Has she added people to your VIP page? Is she hosting a party and bringing new people to you? This is a repeatable layer also. Just because she gave me referrals 6 months ago, she didn't give me everybody. So I ask them again and I reward them. I'm giving a discontinue True Dimension lipstick to everybody that adds at least 10 to 20 people into my VIP page. I got a lot of them. I need them to go. And so that's one way and then if they love the color, I then transition to, oh my gosh, if you love that color and how it feels, you're really going to love this new one. And that's how I sold some of the new lipsticks. Has she been a guest to an event? Is it a physical event? Is it a virtual event? The point is, have you gotten her in the space of other sales directors or a national? Second date. I think sometimes we forget after we have the first appointment, we can have other appointments. It could be, did you do multi-masking? Well, maybe she wants skincare. Maybe she wants glamour. So that's, a second date, a third date, a fourth date. Almost a lot of these layers are repeatable. So just because you took them through one layer doesn't mean you have to stop. Has she seen one of your Facebook Lives? My Facebook Lives typically occur in my VIP group. So has she commented? Has she engaged? If not, I might tag her in one that I did recently and ask her for her feedback. What did you think about what I shared? Would you like to try the product that I talked about? Is she in your VIP customer group? One thing I learned from Melissa Oliveira's, when we're doing virtual, the definition of a successful party changes from what it looked like in person to what it looks like virtual. Typically our in-person parties, if we had 5 guests, we thought we were doing awesome. And that's what you focused on, and you focused on sales. My virtual parties right now are all about transitioning them to my VIP group. They may or may not buy at the moment that that party is occurring, but if I can transition them to my VIP group, guess what? Next payday, after a couple of lives, after a couple of product spotlights, now they're interested and they're going to purchase from me, and it's not part of a party, so there's no hostess credit associated with that order. So a successful virtual party to me is how many guests attended, how many could I get to engage with me, and how many could I move over to my VIP group. Pearl Girls, are you doing marketing with your director? I love to do marketing prior to, I equip my consultants to do their own, but I do like to have a conversation before someone joins, just so that I can start to build that relationship. So, are you learning through your director on different ways to do marketing? What I tell my girls, Pearl Girl calls are not about recruiting somebody. It's not about convincing somebody to do anything. It is purely about education. Does the consultant understand all these things? And I want to help make sure that her guest, I want to overcome some miscommunication, misthoughts that she may have, kind of like me. I thought Mary Kay women were aggressive. So I want to make sure that I've given her enough information that she can now make a truly informed decision. So I don't even ask people to join on a Pearl Girl. I literally just want to answer questions. And then at the end of my Pearl Girl, I ask the customer and the consultant, is there anything more I could say, anything you wish I would have said? And then I get off the phone and I let them have a conversation. And that helps them. Game night. Okay, that's just another version of a guest event. So, a lot of times we'll do bingo or something like that. So you could substitute game night for another guest event. Coffee, that was a really big one when we were doing a lot more in person. Now it's just, maybe it's a follow-up to a Pearl Girl call. And then the last layer is a bold ask. Just because she said no, that doesn't mean no for forever. It just means not this moment. Maybe later on. I had a woman that I've had multiple women that when they became my customers, the first thing they said to me is, don't ever ask me to join your team. I'm tired of women asking me to join their team. Great, I won't do that. But would you mind giving me some feedback on some things? You don't have to be interested in joining Mary Kay. I truly want your honest. What is your take on how I present the information? Was there enough content? I asked them to look at it through those eyes. And then all of a sudden they're like, I'm buying enough product. Maybe I should do this to get my product as a discount. Oh, Austin, you're right. Why would you ever, especially if you're a repair client, why are you not a personal use consultant? But then what happens when they become, I was going to just be a personal use consultant. Then they don't know what
Right.
they don't know. They don't know what they're saying no to. And so then I was like, okay, yeah. Now my job as your mentor, as your director, is to make sure you know what smorgasbord is available to you. And then you go pick and choose the things that you want. So for me, I'm more passionate about making sure they have correct information that is specific to them so that they can make an informed decision and decide right now or later is best for me.
Right. Well, and thank you for going through that like chart, because we've talked about that before. I think it was actually on one of our previous Red Hot calls, but to have somebody that is like, I mean, because that comes from your guys's area, the changes to that. And so being able to know and to understand each of those layers, and even just that different thought process that, the Pearl Girl is just about education. It's not tied to that decision. It's tied to just A, helping the consultant learn, and then B, helping to educate the person. And then the fact that the layers are repeatable, is, I think we know that, but just to remind ourselves of that, just because you did it one time does not mean you can't do it again, because I know Linda, our national, always taught us that it takes the average person 4 layers before they join. And so, it is different now with, versus in person and virtual, but they can be a part of all of those things, and it can happen very quickly, like in a short amount of time, or over a longer period of time, and but just to keep going back and to revisit that, to know, okay, here's Sally Sue on here. What layers have I done? What have I not done? What have I done? And I would even, when you guys are working with this, do you even do you just check the box, or do you date it to say, okay, I sent her samples on this date?
So I don't necessarily date it, but I do put initials that make sense to me so that I know, for instance, on the spa bags, okay, MM is multi-masking,
Gotcha.
SC is skincare, GM is glamour, HE is hydrogel eye patches. So, and then in terms of videos, I typically primarily use my videos. Occasionally I'll use the companies, and I'll also use Heather's.
Right.
So if you're one that you use a lot of different videos, somehow be able to notate what video. Now, I'm not talking about rehashing the dead over and over and over. So you have to always have new people to work with. But what I am saying is every couple of months, I pull up my old layering sheets and I go, okay, where can I take someone right now? And what I love about these layering sheets, if you get her name on there, it takes the rest of the work out. I just look and go, for instance, so I got 100 leads this weekend. I'm still working through them. And this is what it looked like. So I got a lead and I reached out to her. And the first thing I said was, hey, Maria invited you to my VIP group. And oh my gosh, I would love to have you in there if you don't already have a consultant. I would also love to send you a pampering pack. What's your address? And then I also included a link to my VIP page. So all she had to do was click it and hit accept. So then they give me their address. Since I'm doing spa multi-masking, I don't necessarily have to pre-profile her. So then now I've got a spa package in the mail. I've added her to my VIP group. Hopefully she's going to fall in love with the product here really soon. I'm hopefully going to turn her into a hostess. But now I'm like, okay, girl, would you like to earn a free whatever? I'm doing True Dimensions lipsticks. You can do an eyeshadow, you can do a discount, whatever. I would love your feedback. I have this video. I would love for you to watch this video. Tell me what you think about the presentation and the content. So I'm asking them, I'm not presenting it in such a way, hey, I want to know if you want to join my team. I'm like, I literally want to know, what do you think about how I delivered the material and what was in it? All my videos, I try to keep it 7 minutes or less, because I'll be honest, if you send me a link and it's 15 minutes long, I will at some point in time watch it, but I'm probably going to have to figure out where in my day I can put it. But 7 minutes, I'm like, oh, I could do 7 minutes, going to the bathroom and brushing my teeth. And so right now, all these new people already have at least 3 layers, if not more. Then I said, hey girl, if you like what you see in my group, would you mind adding a few of your friends? Because if you like it, I bet they would like it. So now I have spa, referral. She's in my VIP group, and I've asked her to watch a video. Then I'm going live regularly. So then she's going to get a Facebook Live. Jan is having an event coming up. The company is having an event coming up. So I'm plugging people into, so now I'm going to have a guest at an event. I'm going to ask her to host. So I'm not going from left to right. I'm just naturally, okay, what could I do today that would give her another layer on my sheet? And that's how I work it.
Awesome. I love that. So 2 questions is, number 1, are the leads, okay, because I know somebody's going to ask, the 100 leads that you got is because in your VIP group, you had said, if you add this many people, I'll give you True Dimensions lipstick. Is that correct? Okay. Because I know people are going to hear that you have 100 new leads and be like, how'd she do that?
I got them all in one day too. And some of those
awesome.
were new people. And I've been working at growing my VIP group for 6 months.
Right.
I couldn't get anyone to do diddly squat. And all of a sudden I got their attention on a snow day, and new people started adding new people. So yes, that's where
awesome.
They came from.
That's incredible. Okay. The second part of that is, so that kind of helps us to know how you work through this and how you think of this virtually. Okay. Let's say, because now, people are doing both in person and virtual. Let's say you have a party, like if you're doing something in person with somebody, how you just did with the steps that you took for this virtual thing, how are you doing that on in-person kind of things?
So once I confirm it with my hostess, I get my hostess some scripts, and I like to do Google Docs. I can't keep track of information coming at me at different ways. I lose it. So I give my hostess a link to a Google Doc, and I say, anybody that you think you want to invite, send them this link and ask them to complete it. And so my Google Doc it's a pre-profiling questionnaire. So what's your experience with Mary Kay? Tell me about your skin type. What do you hope to learn? And I like to ask that question because maybe she wants to learn how to do a cat eye, and this is a skincare class. Now I have a booking opportunity with her. Well, we're not going to be able to cover that at this appointment, but I would love to schedule a time with you. And then I got to go learn how to do a cat eye because I don't do cat eye, but that concept. I then ask them, is there any skincare issues you want addressed? And then the last question I ask them is, would you be willing to watch a short video and give me some feedback in exchange for a free eyeshadow at the party? And so if they say yes to that question, then I send them the link to my marketing video with another Google Doc. And I say, as soon as you watch this video, message me back so we can decide what eyeshadow you want. And then I send her a screenshot of all of our eyeshadows, and I say, tell me which one you want, and I'll make sure I have it the day of. Now, before the party's ever arrived, I've already started building a relationship with her. I've already I don't expect her to recruit off of my marketing video without ever meeting me. It's just a layer, because now when she goes to the party and she starts to watch me work, and now she knows all this information that I've already shared, they'll go, maybe I should give this a try.
Right.
Invariably, there's always somebody from the party that didn't have time to complete the marketing survey. And so to do marketing at the party, I go, oh, I feel so bad. Mary didn't get a chance to do the video. Would y'all mind if I go ahead and share a little bit of information so that Mary could get an eyeshadow too? Would that be okay? And they're like, oh, yeah. And so I go ahead and I do ticket marketing. And so I give a little bit of basic information, and then I ask them, every time you ask me a question about the business, you're going to get a ticket, and then somebody's going to get something. This is where this is how I get rid of a lot of my discontinued limited edition items, is I just put them in a basket and then I pull it out, and that's what I give away. And so that allows me to give another layer of marketing at the appointment. So now by the time I get to the appointment, I also ask her if, I give them a link to my VIP page, and I tell them, if you'd like to get to know me better, you want to know a little bit about my products, I would be honored if you would join my VIP group. I've, of course, already pre-qualified her to make sure she doesn't have a consultant.
Right.
So now she's gonna have a product experience. It won't be samples because I'm gonna be doing it in person. She's watched a video. Hopefully she's in my VIP group. And then once I get there, I do another layer of marketing. I try to book her for to host her own party. And then I, start seeing who wants to recruit. I was successfully recruiting at every one of my parties there for a while because I worked my layers. So I don't go, oh my gosh, should I send her this video? Gosh, she's not even met me and she's not even tried the product. That's not how I look at it. I'm like, it's just a layer. I want her to understand what it is that I do, so that when she gets there, she'll either go, oh man, I know Mary needs to try this, or she's like, I really should be doing this. And then we ask for referrals at the party. You're using your profile card. So on the back, I ask for referrals. And then when I do my private close, I'm like, girl, you just gave me 10 names. Let's do a party. Now, as a director, 100% of my purpose in doing parties is to find my next recruit. It's not to sell. It's not to collect customers. Those do happen. But my focus is who can I bring along on my team? Who would benefit from this opportunity? And so I'm like, girl, let's go ahead and get you booked. Oh man, we could do virtual or in person. And then as I'm coaching her as my hostess, at the end, I'm like, okay, girl, we got $600 in sales. Either I can take the $300 profit, or would you want to have a conversation about maybe doing this with me? Or maybe she's not interested, but somebody else from the party is.
Right.
And so I just use that as the next. So it's the same thing. Then they start getting my spa samples. So after the party's over with, that they've given me permission to continue to contact them, maybe we did skincare. Well, I'm gonna send them multi-masking. Or maybe we did skincare and now I'm gonna send them glamour. And then I just keep track of what samples have I given.
Gotcha. Do you send samples, is that a system that you send them every so often, or is it just when you look at the names and be like, okay, what's another layer I can give to that particular person?
So I think it goes in waves. So like right now, most of my samples are going out to these new referrals that I've gotten. So I'm not so much, but right before I got all these referrals, in an effort to try to get referrals, as my clients were purchasing from me, I would follow it up with, okay, girl, I'm getting ready to send your product in the mail. You know what? I'm really wanting to bless some women. Right now, women are just stressed to the max. Is there anybody in your life that you think could use some pampering? I would love to gift them a complimentary pampering kit. So one of the ladies that I did this with, she's a nurse, and she's like, oh my gosh, my coworkers could use this. Great. How many coworkers do you have? There's 8 of us. Okay, girl, I'm going to put 8 pampering packs in your order. And then when you get them, if you'll just pass them out to the people. Now, those are a little bit colder lead in that I'm not the one communicating with them, but it has my contact information. And so the hope is that they're going to follow up with me. So I started that. And then I got all these leads into my VIP group. So I kind of pivoted. But when I exhaust these leads and I find myself, this is what's awesome about this layering sheet. If you find yourself stuck, you're not really stuck. Stuck is the state of mind. Just pull your layering sheet back out. Maybe you need to pull your layering sheet back out for 3 months. Okay, where are there holes? What layers could be repeated? So in that instance, if I'm going to reach out to my clients, it's in a season when I'm not working with a lot of new and I'm looking for some new activity.
Well, and I love that you said that, because we just had, last week we did a video, it was our Watch It Wednesday video. And that was one of the questions that somebody had asked was, what do you do when you feel like you've exhausted, like you don't have anybody else to be able to share with? And you just perfectly, like without even knowing that, like share that, because it all goes back to, in a way, like it goes back to product. Like the product is the easiest way to start that initial layer. And it's like you said at the beginning, it doesn't have to be that they have to be on every single product or have purchased, you know, hundreds of dollars. It's okay, what sample can I give to them? You know, because that's, I mean, think about like when you go to, like, of course they're not doing it as much, but like you get so excited when you go to Sam's Club or Costco and they've got the sample places out. That's like, we can do that same thing with that. So I loved that. So then share with us, because I do want to kind of wrap up our time together. So I know that you had shared with me before kind of a challenge that you guys are doing. I think it's your whole area, the 10 by 10 by 10 challenge. So share with us a little bit with that, because I think that that's something for the Red Jackets listening to this, like that is, and I don't know, like you guys can kind of explain like how you came up with that or whatever, but that is that like next level of activity that you need to push you to like the next level of red, to, you know, moving on up in that direction. So talk to us a little bit about that.
So we have a new offspring in our future national area. Her name is Shelly Woods. And we've got this group of women we've got a private Facebook Messenger group of women that have expressed a desire to move up. And so it's just a sharing. We just all share. Well, Shelly shared recently that what got her through DIQ and now what's getting her through being a new director is this 10 by 10 by 10 concept. We've all heard it in a million different ways. And so whatever reason, this really resonated with everybody. So you every morning, and she runs a business, like outside of Mary Kay, her family has a business. So she works full time. She says, if I don't initiate conversations at the beginning of the day, I'm behind the rest of the day. So she initiates at the beginning of the day so she can react the rest of the day. So you have 10 customer service follow-ups. So did you sell product recently to somebody? Okay, follow up on that. Did you send out a pampering pack? Follow up on that. Were they a guest at a party? You know, so it's 10 customer service follow-ups, 10 booking attempts, and then either 10 sending out samples or asking for marketing surveys. And you do that every day. Now, this is what happened. Several people realized really quick, I've not been working in the volume I should be working, because if you're just working with 50 people, you don't even have, by day 2, you're done. You're like, oh, who do I talk to on day 3? And that was one of the things I started to realize is, ooh, I need to get some new in. And so if you have found yourself in a position where, okay, it's day 3 and I've already touched base with everybody, then you need to 30 attempts at referrals, 30 attempts at whatever to get you more people, whether it's more booking attempts or whatever. And so we just started doing that, and our activity has exploded. Now, I also have a few people, they're like, I don't want to be a director, but I do want to get in my red and I want to maintain my red. Okay, then maybe you do 10 calls a day instead of 30. The key is it's a system. It's done first thing in the morning. You don't question it. You don't talk yourself out of it. You just do it. And so you've already decided the night before as you're doing your 6 most important things, you've already listed everybody that you plan on talking to. And then first thing in the morning, you send out however you're communicating, and then you just go about your day. But if you're like, okay, I don't want to be a director, but I do want to grow my business, then maybe you do 10 a day, but it's consistency. It's doing it every day without emotion. This isn't emotional. So the other thing that we got to talking about the other day, so somebody else had signed up for some type of webinar not related to Mary Kay. And she said, they email me and text me every day to remind me. And I'm not mad about it because I forget. But what I realize is I am not communicating at that level with my customers and my people. We're all busy. And if I don't get that reminder, I'm going to forget.
Yeah. So I loved, and I don't, hopefully you had this written down how she said this, but the initiate early to react, like say that again.
So you want to initiate at the very beginning of the day so the rest of your day can be reactionary. So if you wait till the end of the day or middle of the day to initiate, then your responses come in later. Now, having said that, you initiated at 8 o'clock. Just because she read or listened to your message
Mhm.
does not mean, and she didn't respond, it doesn't mean she's saying no.
Right.
She accidentally clicked on it and she saw it and she went, crap, I don't have time to address it. So then guess what? A couple of days from now, she can be a follow-up on your customer service or
Yes.
another reach out. So you can a couple of times, use the same people. You just don't want to be messaging the same people every single day about something different. So
Right.
yes, initiate and then react.
Well, and I love that. And I think going back to that whole consistency thing, and even the idea that, I mean, we hear it all the time, is I don't want to be pushy. Like, I don't want to be the pushy Mary Kay lady. And I always think, I remember somewhere that it was like, if you even voice that concern, you're not the pushy person, because pushy people do not think that thought. But it is just that sometimes we think that we're working when we're not. And I've been guilty of that too. Like, I'll wake up, and if I check my email or check messages, I instantly go into that reaction mode. And then the next thing I know, it's, the middle of the afternoon, and I've not done what I had intended to do that day. And so the being intentional about that, initiation of that at the beginning, and then the consistency with it, whether you, depend on what your goals are, whether you do 3 of each of those categories or 5 of each of those categories or 10, it's just that you're doing something every single day, day in and day out, to move. I always say move the needle forward, like do something that moves the needle forward. And even if they don't respond that day, like you said, you can follow up with them later, or maybe it'll be like a couple days later and they're like, oh crap, I forgot to respond. Let me respond to her, because we do all get busy. And then on that same token, just the idea of just kind of a reminder of, we do have to be that responsible person to do that communication, and knowing that it's so common for us to have to reach out to people multiple times, that whole sales statistics thing. But even to try different platforms. Okay. If you send her a text the first time, maybe when you're doing the follow-up a couple days later, send it in an email or do a memo in Facebook Messenger, because we do get things all the times from all different directions, that maybe you need to try a different way to communicate with people as well. So I love that. Okay. So as we close, Brenda, what would be any final tips or advice that you would give to the Red Jackets that are watching this?
So 1, print 100 of these and start writing down every single person. I'll even sort them. So I will put up at the top the hostess or who referred them to me or whatever, and then put them all down. The quicker you get them written down, the quicker the release is. And then you're like, okay, start on page. Well, don't get overwhelmed by where do I start? Just pick a page and start. Those names are still going to be there, next week, next month, whatever. It gives you a place to start. 2, there is a difference between desperate and determined. People can tell that you're desperate. Heidi and I went through a season where I was very, very desperate. And then I suddenly pivoted from desperate to determined. And all of a sudden I went from nobody would book with me to I had 10 appointments on my books. And I was like, how did everybody know? Okay, it's how I know that you're having a bad day. Maybe you're constantly on social media and now you're not. Or I can see comments that you put on other people's posts. If you're my friend, it might pop up in my feed and maybe it looked a little whiny. Or are you doing a desperate sale? Like you've slashed everything and you do this a lot. Okay, your clients know, oh, you must be desperate. Okay, well, I'm going to wait till you get a little bit more desperate. Determined, I'm still doing the same activity, but if you give me a no, okay, get out of my way. I got to keep going. because there's someone else. And then what happens is those people that you pushed out of the way to get to the next person later on, they're like, oh, wait, I think I want to do this.
Right.
So you just keep going and you don't allow. But social media is a big telltale. Also, if you are just putting nothing but filtered pictures in a ideal life, nobody believes that.
Right.
Like, be real. Don't be drama queen. Don't be whiny. Be real. That's your people want to see you. They don't want to see me. They want to see you going live or you posting or you sharing in your VIP page, because that's why they're there. They like you. They also love our product, but they really like you. And so that's how I build a relationship is I go live. The other day I was doing a live and I was like, oops, I forgot something. Y'all look at my dirty toilet. I'm going to go get what I got. And I come back. So do y'all see my dirty toilet? Yeah, I got to go wash it. I know. They're like laughing. They're not judging me. They're laughing. So that's what I would say. Take the emotion out of it.
Yeah. And that's people, that's how people know, and they trust you, but then that's how they have more confidence to know that they can do it themselves, is that it's not always perfect. It's not always correct. It's you living your life, and Mary Kay's a part of it. I always remember the Craig Rochelle quote when he does his podcast is people would rather follow a leader who is real than a leader who's always right. Mm-hmm. And that's what we need to be. Like, we need to be that real, authentic, natural self when we're working with our customers, potential team members, all of those things. So
yeah, my customers don't expect me to be perfect, but they just want to know me and see it through me. So I'm prepared, but I always make mistakes. I'm like, and you too can be a Mary Kay sales director.
Yep. That's always the tagline when you mess up is you too can do this. So awesome. Well, Brenda, thank you so very much for your time today. The thing I love the most about you is you are real. You are authentic. You have been since the moment I've met you. And just thank you for your persistence and your dedication with your business, because I know it's made a difference on your entire future national area. And it's made a difference on those of us that are on the outskirts of that are watching as well. So I just wanted to thank you for that. And just know that we are cheering you on. Her goal, she shared it with me, I'll share it with you guys, is to be in the top 3 of unit building are you going to Springfield? Mm-hmm. Okay, at the Springfield Career. So we'll be all able to cheer you on for that. And so we are so excited to be able to watch that come to fruition. So thank you again so much for your time today.
I appreciate it. Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Of course.